Hello and welcome to this amazing show जिसका नाम है शापराली लॉ शो. आपको पता है right that whenever you are in trouble, अगर वो है ऐसा कुछ जो immigration से related, then there is one person who is always there to help you out. जी हाँ, शापराली. He is the founder, president and managing attorney of the Shaparali Law Group PC. It is definitely in Newark, पर आपको पता है ना कि कभी भी कहीं भी if you want you can always contact him. फिलहाल तो आधे घंटे के लिए हम रहेंगे रेडियो जिंदगी स्टूडियो में, तो फिर अगर आपके पास कोई भी इमिग्रेशन से रिलेटेड सवाल है तो बेझिझक हमें कॉल कीजिए. 510-770-1550 है हमारा नंबर. एंड मैं आपको थोड़ा बहुत बता दूं कि शाह इज अ मेंबर ऑफ द अमेरिकन Immigration Lawyer Association as well as the State Bar of California. He is so passionate, and he is an advocate of human rights, civil rights, social action and social services, and he has a very strong interest in and of course the knowledge of the political and legal system in the US. He formed his law group to work on the causes he feels most ardent about, और इसीलिए तो the law firm mainly focuses on immigration law with an emphasis on employment-based immigration and helps clients all over the US. जी हाँ, बस न्यूयॉर्क नहीं, सैन फ्रांसिस्को एंड वॉशिंगटन डीसी में भी है इनके ऑफिस. अगर आप इनके साथ एक अपॉइंटमेंट फिक्स करना चाहते हैं, जरूर नंबर नोट कर लीजिए. 510-742-5887. जरूर चेक करें piralilaw.com because it is so informative and so well structured that you would get that feel that you are in good hands. And of course, you can call us on air 510-770-1550. Now, let me welcome Shah Pirali without any further ado. Hello, Shah. How are you? And welcome to Radio Zindagi.
I'm doing well, Rani. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the nice welcome. And thank you, listeners. Today we are live. And it's July 5th, 2022, and today is a great day because it's 12 years ago, exactly that date, we started the Shaparali Law Show. 12 years ago, 2010,
wow.
I remember. It was my first time, well, not my first time doing a show, but first time pretty much I was the host and pretty much everything on the show, and time is flying really fast, and 12 years have passed, and we're still here, going strong, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you to all of you on the radios who have helped me, who have always been by my side to keep this going, and especially the listeners. They have been always faithful to our show, and I wanted to thank you to continue listening. We have changed the timing many times, but this time we are on Tuesdays now at this time, and hopefully you will join us, all of you, to celebrate at the same time, talk about immigration issues. And of course, anything I'm going to tell you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any question. But again, this I look back at what 12 years ago, the reason I started the show was an event in Arizona that happened where they were trying to pass their own immigration laws. And there was a big fight. And actually, a lot of people were sending me threatening emails because I'm an immigration lawyer. And that's where I decided to get into the show and talk about immigration from a different way, a different perspective. And that has done, we have gone through so many things together, and including we had the situation of Tri-Valley University, we had all the situation with Trump, we had the situation with, you name it, so many issues, majors, that really made the news, and we were there, and I'm very happy and very grateful to all of you for being here, the radio groups, and plus also the listeners. So, really, this is kind of a little bit emotional when I think about it, but we continue strong, and hopefully we can help more people to the radio shows.
Shah, I can only add that you are like that old wine who is more valuable with time. You have helped so many people to heal, to prosper, to go ahead in life, to sort out their immigration issues, and you have a lot of other sides. So it's not only like one side of you. You are as a person, like so multifaceted, and you have always been there like more than 12 years. Like you are in this industry for I think like more than 2 decades, and you have been doing such an amazing job that 12 years is nothing. I wish you like 30, 40, 50 years on radio helping people. But
thank you so much.
Yeah, but at the same time, I would say that you have been so composed for all these years because you have seen a lot. You have seen people suffering. You have helped them to get through the immigration problems. So tell us more about some immigration problems that we sometimes, we lose faith on, especially when people are in here or people are trying to get in here. Because I know now a little bit of things are opening up here and there. Past 2 years, I think, especially for the students, it was very difficult because there was no student scholarships and all. But this year, a little bit is opening up. So if somebody wants to get an F1 visa, or they are having, like, maybe they are here on a visitor visa, is it possible to transfer to an F1?
Very good question. In fact, as for the direct F1 visa, if you're coming direct from India or Pakistan or another country, the school will issue what we call an I-20. First, you have to get into get an admission to the school. Once they process your paper, they're going to issue something called an I-20, which you take to the U.S. Embassy, and you get the visa, the F1 visa, and you come here. While there's a process behind it, and it's done mostly by the school, you don't need a lawyer for that. Now, if you come on a visitor visa and you want to change your visa to student visa, then yes, it will be good to hire someone and we can help you on that. Yes, it is possible to answer your question. We have done many of them successfully, and so far I don't even recall any of them were denied. So maybe one, just to be on the safe side, but I don't think so. I've done many of them. If it is done properly, because we already sort out those who can actually get it or not, because if you don't meet the requirements, there's no purpose to go for a student visa. But most of our clients, I'll say pretty much all of them, met the requirements and they got it. The answer is yes. The only drawback is that it takes around 1 year to get an approval. And Trump, I think in 2017, introduced a stupid rule where you had to do an extension of B1, then file it at the same time. But now they remove that, which is a good thing. So as long as your F1 is pending, like that's what we call B1 to F1, you can stay here and wait. But you pretty much are in limbo because you're in what we call a period of authorized stay. You're not really in a status until it's approved. But many people take advantage of this pending situation to visit and have some good time in the U.S. until it's approved, then they can directly go to school. But the answer is yes, you can change from a visitor visa to a student visa. But it is not recommended really to take that route unless you have not decided when you are coming. The best is to take your student visa directly abroad, then you come back in, because that allows you to travel with a student visa. However, if you change your status here, when you go outside, you have to go for stamping to come back. But that's not a big deal. If you're already here, most people would like to just stay because it's costly to go back and come back again. So, yes, if you need help on that, we can help you. 510-742-5887.
Wonderful.
Yes,
we have a caller, Shah, so let's take this call first.
Oh, sure.
Hello, you're on air with Shah Pirali.
Hi, I would like to talk to Shah.
Sure, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Good morning, Shah Pirali.
Good morning. Go ahead.
So I have a question. I have a question regarding I-140 right now.
Yes.
So the question is like, I have my 140 filed with under EB2 category with my previous employer X. Now I am working for another employer Y. It's been almost 3 years with I'm working with my current employer Y, but I didn't file my I-140 with my current employer. So my priority date is almost in 2018. So I have so if I have to relocate to my country now, due to some conditions, so and I have to come back after 2 years. So what advantages I may have if I'm going to join back to my previous employer who has filed I-140, or what advantages I'm going to get it if I'm going to join back to the new employer?
What do you mean new advantage? Because if you got your I-140 from one employer and that employer filed your adjustment of status, within 180 days you can move to employer B after 180 days. Now, if you downgrade it to EB3 and then you move, you'll stick to EB3. But if you want to go to EB2, then only employer A can do that for you. So if you are planning, you are on what right now, EB3, EB2?
No, mine is a EB2.
Okay. So if you're EB2, then there's no problem. There's no problem then. After 180 days, if you file the adjustment of status under AC-21 rule, after 180 days, you can take the entire case, move it from company A to company B, and only thing, the two requirements is 180 days and same or similar position. So as long as you meet those two requirements, you're fine, you're safe, you can move your entire case. But I didn't get your question. Did you talk about an I-485 attached to that case or not?
Yeah. So actually, sorry to make you the lengthier question, so that is entirely deviating from the conversation.
No, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me rephrase the question. So I am already having I-140. My priority date was in 2018. So that 140 is filed under EB2 category, and that is with my previous employer. But now I'm working for another company for Y. It's been 3 years with another company Y. By that, I did not initiate any 140s with my current employer. So my question is, still my I-140 is with my previous employer X. So my question here is, I have to relocate to my own country, India, due to some other family matters. Maybe if I'm going to relocate to India now, if I would like to come back after 2 years to United States again, I'm just thinking about what are all the benefits I'm going to have it if I'm joining back to my previous employer who filed my I-140, or would there be any benefit if I'm going to join to any other new employer? So this is what my question is, Shopper.
Okay, I got you. So we're talking company ABC then. So company A filed your I-140. You're with company B which has not filed an I-140, and now you're relocating. And when you come back, you want to know if there's any advantage to move back to B. Well, there's no real advantage to move to B because B has no I-140 for you. So
no, I'm not talking about not B, joining back to company A.
Oh, yeah, then of course, yes. Then it is an advantage. If the dates are current, then you can use that to get a green card. Yes, there is an advantage to that. If the dates are current and you're moving back, if you move back to A can use that I-140 to file for your adjustment of status. Then yes, there is an advantage. I'm so sorry, I misunderstood the question completely. I thought it was you had an adjustment of status. But yes, there is a big advantage to move to A, yes.
It's my mistake to ask you the longest question, but thank you so much for giving that. But my point is, do I need to reinvent the case if I'm going back to my previous employer who filed I-140? Do I need to do again anything like perm process, I-140 process again? Because it's been almost 3 years, 5 years ago I have filed I-140 with my previous employer, right?
No, you don't have to do anything as long as you're moving to the same position. For example, let's say they put you as system analyst, right? And you're moving back with them as software engineer or something else. Then yes, they have to redo a new I-140. But if you're moving back to the same position, right? Well, actually, at least for the green card, then no, you don't have to do anything. You just use the same I-140. As soon as the dates are current, you just plug in your I-485.
So
that's what a lot of people have been doing when the dates became current, yes.
Right, right. So the next final question here is if the time permits actually. So I have this one, another one as well. So do we have any timelines, like if the current date is the priority date, so I need to respond for I-485 H1 EAD to be filed, right? So is there any timelines to respond this if the current date is priority date? Within specific timeline, I need to respond within 6 months or 4 months or something like that.
You mean a specific time to file the adjustment of status? That's what.
Yes,
you mean,
yes.
right?
Is there any specific time?
Yeah,
if the current date is
there's
priority
no
date?
specific time. The only time is governed by the priority date. Priority dates, remember, they go forward and backward. So let's say the dates are current today. Next month it might not be current. So that's your deadline. Otherwise, no, there's no real deadline. But it becomes more complicated if you wait too long, because then it's going to look very fishy why you kind of didn't take advantage of it. But there's no real deadline. For example, let's say 2018 becomes current tomorrow, right? And then you don't file it, and 1 year later it's still current, you can still file it. But they might ask for an explanation, but you can explain that at this point in time you were stuck in India or something, because this is the truth. But no, there's no deadline. However, if in 2 months the days retrogress, then you miss the chance. You understand how it is?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being patient and listening to my conversation. Thank you
so much for the question. And it's a very interesting question, by the way. Really, a lot of people ask me that. And thank you so much for calling, and keep listening. And tell your friends. And also the YouTube channel where we put all those shows. It's youtube.com/Shapira Law. Please subscribe to it. I upload it, and plus I put more stuff on it. So, Rini, anything further from your side? Any questions?
I would just continue with the question, especially like I see a lot of students, they're very worried about that. And one question I got from a student is like, if they want to apply for an F1 visa from abroad, like if they're in Pakistan or, like Malaysia or India or wherever they are, is it mandatory to show that they have a connection back home? Because I see a family, the entire family is here, only the girl is trapped back in, her country. So she wants to come here, join as a student in F1 visa, but she's worried because her parents and everybody, the family actually is in the United States already.
Yeah, that's a good question. Indeed, because if you look at the questioning under INA 214B, you cannot have an immigrant intent, right? So an intent is basically decided on your behaviors, right? So if your entire family are here in the U.S., then they can infer from that. They can infer, that's good enough for them, that you are going to come here and not go back. And that becomes a very negative thing, unfortunately. However, having said that, I know many people who got it without any problem, because they understand also this person is alone and she has all the family here and she wants to study, so why not give her a chance or him a chance? But yes, it is a negative point, unfortunately, because it goes with the intent issue on INA 214B, which basically says if you have an immigrant intent, they can deny you. The problem is luck, unfortunately, and the officer who's looking at the case. If you get an officer who's aggressive and not very nice, they will just deny it, saying, no, you don't have any intention. The good news with INA 214B, you can reapply. Because let's say the case gets denied, you can keep reapplying until you get it.
Oh, then what are the options for kids like them?
There's no option. Just keep reapplying.
If not F1, and if their parents are here in some non-immigrant visas like H1B or L1, then what are the options that the kid has to move to U.S.?
Well, when the kid is under 21, they have H4, for example, dependent visa. But once they pass 21, F1 is usually your option unless they get into their own H1. But it's kind of hard for a 21-year-old to get an H1 because they don't really have a bachelor's degree at this point. But yeah, it is possible. But if you're under 21, you come directly on your parents' H4. If you are above 21, usually the student visa is the best option. And they understand that. In this case, what we do when we call it the children are aging out. So people will contact me like few months before the H4 expires and will file the F1 visa. Or will recommend that they take an I-20, go outside, get a stamp and come back. But right now with all the issues going on in India, with all the stamping, how to put it, they are overwhelmed there. Let's put it this way. They are overwhelmed and the dates are hard to get. So in this case, what I would recommend 1 year before the H4 expires, contact an attorney. You can contact us. We can do it for you. We file the F1. Like that, the child doesn't have to go. By the time the F1 gets approved, they can just move to F1. But the good news is that usually once you start an H4, most schools will allow you to continue even when the F1 is pending. And that's kind of an exception because of the situations that many parents face. Unfortunately, from India are mostly aging out of children under 21, so above 21. Then it becomes complicated to let the child go, so they give them they look the other way, we should put it. But the rule is that until the F1 is approved, you cannot really work. But most schools will probably understand the situation and will give them a break until they get back on their F1. So the best is to file the F1 early. The other option is to take the I-20, go outside, get a stamp, and come back.
Wonderful. So everybody listening out there, if you have a tricky situation like that, you know what's best to do. You have to contact Shah Perali Law Group, and the phone number is 510-742-5887. Zarur check kare piralilaw.com to get all the information about it. And as you know that he has offices in Newark, in San Francisco, and Washington DC. Shah, I know that we are running out of time, have only 3 minutes in hand, and I really want you to intercept and, give your valuable comments or tips for the listeners.
Well, for today, that we heard that I think on June 22, Biden proposed that the Democrats actually proposed that they will increase the number of visas to 300,000. Just as a reminder for those who don't know, back in the days, I remember in 2004, there were 300,000 H-1Bs issued. And then suddenly, I think in 2005 or 2006, it became 80,000. So since then, it has stayed 80,000. But now they are proposing to bring it back. We don't know if it will go through because it has to go to Congress, although Congress is controlled by Democrats. Some Democrats are not really pro-immigration. And plus, also, it has to go to the Senate, which is Republican. So, but usually for H-1B, Republicans are kind of okay. So let's see how this thing is going to pan out, because there is a shortage of labor in America. The other thing that is happening, of course, is a recession. We are kind of almost officially in a recession, and I think Forbes, today was saying that we are in a recession because the market really started crashing. So we're going to see so many things happening in the next few months now. I just hope we don't see a situation of 2007, but some people are saying it's going to be worse. So that's going to affect also immigration. So watch out for this, and we'll talk more about this next week, hopefully, Rini. And today I just wanted to thank you all for listening, and today was our 12th year anniversary of the show. And thank you, listeners. Thank you for the group. Thank you, Rini. Thank you, Niraj. Thank you all the people who have helped me over the years to make this a reality and to help more people. And I'm very, very proud of that. And I wanted to say a special shout out to all our listeners, because you are the one who made the show really live. And any help you need, give us a call, 510-742-5887. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Shah Perali Law. Like my first name, last name, Law, L-A-W. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week, same time. And hopefully situation with the recession, what things might happen, and what to do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shah. Thank you for being on air, helping all the people. And people out there, you know what you have to do. If you want to get in touch with Shah Perali, the number is very simple 510-742-5887 जरूर चेक करें piralilaw.com. Yes, as Shah mentioned, next week same day same time यानी कि Tuesday 9:35 again we will be on air just to solve your immigration problems. Thank you so much Shah and have a great day. वेल रेडियो जिंदगी लिसनर्स, आज के लिए गुड मॉर्निंग जिंदगी बस इतना ही, पर ये जो जिंदगी है ये तो चलती रहेगी और इसीलिए हमेशा खुश रहिए, फिट रहिए, घूमते फिरते रहिए और हमेशा खुद से कहते रहिए जिए जा.